It's Friday night, everybody. You know what that means. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Let's get together and play a ton.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm John.
And we're
Friday Night Games.
Last Game Standing.
Yeah.
We want to immerse you into our love of the hobby by educating and entertaining you through our board gaming adventures. Our podcast lands every Friday, and we create content for Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
We want to give special thanks to our sponsor, TabletopRenaissance.ca, located in our hometown of Windsor, Ontario. They have a new web store that's up, so check it out. TabletopRenaissance.ca for your board game and tabletop miniature needs.
So this is a very special podcast. It is going to be over 5 episodes. So, John, are you excited?
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm jazzed. I'm very thankful that you did all the work.
You just get to, well,
I'm just participating.
You actually are a participant, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no one knows what we're talking about, but that's cool. So we over the last basically 2 months now, created a very special 5-episode thing that we're going to call Last Game Standing.
Yeah.
Copyright by us.
A battle of the bands featuring board games. Sure.
Yeah, or Canada Reads, what we totally ripped off, but, you know, whatever flavor you want to call it, it's... So, okay, this is what it is, all right? So Last Game Standing, what's going to happen is it's a 5-episode series, starting with episode 0 today. 4 content creators and us will each represent a lesser popular board game that came out in 2020. Each week, a game will be voted off until there's only one winner, and that will be the winner of all winners, the battle of all bands, the Canada Reads, whatever. It's the winner.
Each game will go through a series of questions that each representative will have to answer, and their answer will lead to that board game staying or going after a bit of debate. On each show, a different content creator will join us to vote off a game.
If there's a tie, it's going to be decided by me.
That's fair.
I spent a lot of time making this stuff. I don't even really get to participate because I have to organize it. So I get to decide who wins. And the content creators will pre-record their answers, which will be aired each week. Every content creator will get to vote, but whoever on the show, there's, like say Dice and Dragons is on the show and Julie and Jason are on the show, then each of them will get a vote on the week that they're on the show. But other than that, they only get one vote.
Nice.
I know that's super confusing, and even to them, and I'm sure that they're going to complain to me, but hey, whatever. It is what it is.
So why did we want to do this in the first place? Why did Last Game Standing have to happen, Matt?
I'm not going to lie. We totally ripped off Canada Reads. Mm-hmm. Like totally ripped off Canada Reads. And in fact, the idea came from my wife, which you can hear 2 podcasts ago. She loves Canada Reads. She listens to it every year, and she was just like, "Hey, you should do this with board games." And I'm like, "Yeah, we should, but that seems like a lot of work." Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, just in case you don't know, I don't know, Joe, what is Canada Reads as an example for how I'm to conduct this? So, I don't know. I know you're a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan, but I know what it is. I first heard about it in 2016. Basically, it's an annual Battle of the Books competition that's organized through the CBC. And basically, they pick Canadian authors' books to battle off, and they debate about it. But what's cool about it is that each year has a theme. So they pick a theme, and then they pick like 5 books that match the theme of that year. And then there's a series of usually like well-known Canadian people. They could be like anywhere from like musicians, I guess, or people who are on the radio or TV personalities, and they kind of just debate the books, and one comes out as the winner. What's cool about it is they release the list like months and months in advance, about 6 months, I think. So in hopes that people will go to the bookstores, buy these books, read them, and like kind of participate in the competition as well.
Right. We're not that popular, so we're releasing it today.
Maybe next year.
You know what? If it is popular, I would love to release the list in advance and then get everyone to get on board with that. And maybe this year I kind of like said, hey, we're going to do a little bit more unpopular stuff. But maybe we thinking back, I'm like, we should have totally did popular stuff and I got a little bit of heck from the content creators for that, and you'll hear that when they introduce themselves.
That's okay. That's our theme, unpopular games.
Unpopular games by unpopular content creators. Okay. No, that's not true.
I think we're the only unpopular ones on this list.
That's completely true. Okay, so let's get back to how I wanted to do this, right? And me and you, we had a lot of fun. Like, we were throwing around ideas, right? And I think you at first were like, dude, we should do all Canadian, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that idea, I think I ideally would have wanted that, but I think just the logistics of it, because I was like all Canadian, like all Canadian content creators, all Canadian, like publishers, designers and all that stuff.
Like,
too,
I
right?
totally sold you on it. Like, you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is great. We should do it. And it'd be amazing if it was all Canadian. But that's hard, right? It's like super hard.
Yeah, we don't know too much Canadian history in the board gaming sector, I guess, but gives us something to do for next year to think about.
Yeah, we do have contacts basically through Bridge City Gamers. They're collecting all the Canadian board game designers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But as of when we started doing this, we didn't really have those contacts. So we're like, whatever. And then, like you said, logistics of like, if we were going to do it that way, we'd have to buy, like, I think we would have to buy all the games and then like send it out to everybody. And that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we pitched the idea and we had like a full plan of what was going on, we're like, hey, publishers, this is what we want to do. Maybe they would send us the games, but that's a lot to ask. So it was like, what, 5 copies? It was like 20 games or something, like,
Yeah, 5 times
it's
5.
a lot of games
right?
to ask for.
Five times 5. That's 25
Yeah.
games. That's quite a bit when you think about it. And some of them are expensive. Some of them are like $100 games. It is a
Right.
lot to ask for. And also, like, we don't have like anything proven out. So this is kind of our proving series. So if this is successful, we would love to go further with it, do it again, and get publishers to actually send us stuff.
Yeah.
So do the same thing, but be like, hey, this is what we got. These are the results. What do you think? That'd be pretty cool.
And maybe we'll go to the CBC and they'll put us on TV.
Yeah, I don't think we have TV faces. Well, what they'll do is they'll hire real actors. They'll just-
Listen, dude, I've been working out, so I don't think that matters, though.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either. All right, well,
Let's get out of hand, Matt. Let's get
no,
out of
it's
hand.
fine. It's fine. Look, our whole idea was great, and it was actually getting pretty hard, right? So like I'm like, okay, maybe the Canadian thing isn't going to work out. It's a little bit hard to get all these Canadian people and to figure out the best Canadian game. And I'm like, we're super Canadian, whatever. But so I was just like, you know what? This is crazy. So instead of like that, I'm like, how about I just pre-select 10 games and then see if anyone played 5 of these, right? Doesn't that sound easy, John?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people played at least 50% of the games that we selected anyway.
Yeah, the games that are selected now, right.
Yeah.
But when I was doing the research, I'm like, I'm such a hipster. I didn't want to pick super popular games that everyone already played and know about. And I don't know, I probably should have done that.
I think what you did was fine because it got us to think a little bit harder because everyone's doing content on those popular games, right? So these are still great. Like the games that we're talking about are still great games that we just don't see as much of.
Right. So I'm going to go over how I got the original list. So basically I did research. I used Board Game Geek, fantastic resource for looking up things, especially if you click on the search, you'll see like an advanced search option. Click on that. It is amazing. So what I did was at first I took off every 2020 game. So it can only be released in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, the crew. That would have been my winner, but I'm like, I have to lay down the rules at some point. And then it couldn't be too popular or have too many ratings. So guess what was eliminated from that, John?
Probably got like Gloomhaven, Arnak,
Yup.
Dune Imperium.
Yup. And then some other games like Praga, something that I don't even know how to pronounce, and I'm not even going to try. I didn't want it to be too complicated, so I took out like the weighty games. So guess what got eliminated from that one?
Gloomhaven.
Yep. guess what got eliminated from everything? Gloomhaven.
Yeah,
right?
Gloomhaven. Yeah.
I took out
That's okay.
Tekhinu too. A lot of people like Tekhinu, so I took that out. At first, I didn't want re-implementations, so guess what I took out again?
Is Gloomhaven going to be like the best podcast of this list? Just gets deleted off everything.
I did delete it off everything, and then the game should play in 60 minutes. Yes.
All right, yeah.
Take it off.
I feel like I read the rules for over 60 minutes of Gloomhaven. Jaws
Which
of the
I think
Lion there.
did we say Gloomhaven did win like the heavy game or something, or medium game? I don't know, would they win heavy or medium? That was a couple podcasts back. Do you remember?
I usually delete things out of my brain after we do it.
I don't know.
The next 5 weeks should be interesting.
Someone dropped it in the comments. I don't remember either. No expand. I did not want an expansion because there was actually some expansions that were really high on the list, so I took those out too. For instance, the Spirit Island expansion, I'm actually playing through it right now, is basically a game in itself, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then the game should have about 300 plus ratings, so I don't know. That actually didn't really eliminate anything, to be honest with you.
This massive list still in front of you.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll take off all 300 ratings. It was still like, I guess it took off like the games that were like, there might have been 10 reviews and they're all like perfect 10s.
Yeah.
So, and then I didn't go by the Board Game Geek weighting because that doesn't count. That counts like, you know, how many plays on top of the score. So what I did was I just ordered it by user score. So it had to have 300 scores and it had to be rated by user score so I could see like what the top games were.
All right, I want to know what this list is.
Okay. And my inspiration, John, was the games everyone could play, which is going to be really funny because I'll explain in a second. And I even consulted our followers, and I'm like, give me... And they all gave amazing recommendations, and I was totally thrilled. Like, there's so many good games on there that actually hit this list, too. Like, I kind of used what the Twitter followers tweeted at me, and I used that to kind of help me create the list. So, a bit of a warning here, John. This is not the games in the top 5 for the show. Although some of them did make it, but most of them did not.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so the list is Honeybuzz, Calico, Tang Garden, Santa Monica, Athenaeum, Mystic Library, Gods Love Dinosaurs, The Search for Planet X, My City, Castles of Tuscany, and Rally Band GT. And I was so freaking happy with this list, just ecstatic. I thought this list was amazing. What do you think of that list, huh? What do you think, that's good or what?
You know what? It's a super good list. I'm kind of wishing we picked a different game for ours now that I'm looking at it again.
I mean, we can say what game we chose.
Yeah. We chose Castle of Tuscany, which is fine. But I think I would have loved to champion Gods of Dinosaurs. I'm on a big Panosaurus game kick right now. But yeah, it's a great list. The only downside from my experience doing this so far is that because we're in a provincial lockdown, because we wanted to play all the games that are on our list. So Matt and I played all the games, but it was all done virtually online. So I don't think I got the full experience to play the game.
Right.
That's the only downside. So I wish I actually put hands on with the games that were chose. I think I've only really played
Gods Love Dinosaurs, probably
2. Well, of the ones that are chosen, I think I've only played 2 in real life.
No, you played Gods Love Dinosaurs, My City, Castles of Tuscany, and did you not?
No, I'm saying of the ones that were chosen for this.
The ones we chose.
creation.
Yeah, of the ones we chose, it was all digital, which kind of sucked. Yeah. And I even went out and bought a bunch of these games too, and I was super excited. I kind of jumped the wagon, but there's always learning curves.
I don't have any money, but I'm going to buy all the games.
Basically. I mean, Tang Garden and Santa Monica are still sitting on my shelf. I played Athenaeum with my wife, which was awesome. I actually think that game is super underrated. Search for Planet X you can't even get. That's like the game of 2021. All right, so let's get back to reality. That didn't happen. None of this happened.
Yes.
Which was kind of sad, actually. I put a lot of effort into that. I had to spend a month thinking about all those games and trying to get people to hopefully enjoy it. So I'm I doubt all the content creators played these, and I was right. So I literally threw out a Twitter post and was like, who wants to play with us? Anyone played all these games? And you could believe what my response was back.
I only played 1 or 2 of those games.
Yeah, basically, or crickets. or just crickets. Everyone's just afraid to touch it. Some people are like, dude, maybe next year. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I need this now. But I guess it's the thing, you can't expect everyone to play it unless it was a bunch of content creators in the same location who could get together. It's not going to happen, right? But yeah, I was pretty defeated, man. I was super defeated, and I just was so stuck on trying to recreate the Canada Reads experience, and yeah.
Hey, it is what it is, man. It's year 1. It's year one. First time we're doing it. We got it.
Yeah, maybe next time everyone will be jazzed up, or we just choose more popular games. I don't know. So, me being me, I didn't give up, and I was just like, screw it. This is such a good idea. We're just gonna change the rules. Or create new ones. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out, right? And so, like, first of all, like, I guess the first thing I did was I just approached people that we know or have done content with. I trust and I know they're gonna be there for us. And that was the most important thing, is that I know that I can rely on them to help us out. Now, I didn't expect them to play all the games, and so I changed the rules. It went from like, hey, did anyone play these games? And all of them are like, no. And then I'm like, okay, well, I kind of sent them all an email. They all agreed to it. They're all like, sure. And I didn't think they realized what they agreed to, which is fine. I mean, you saw the email I sent them. It's pretty massive. Outlined all the rules and everything, right? I'm sure like they're just like, what is this textbook here?
It's okay. Maybe we'll send them something as a thank you.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyway, so I sent them all these huge email, and I'm like, hey, can you choose one of these games, or if not, I'm open to whatever you want to suggest. And you don't have to play all of them. You're just championing a game, and hopefully all the content creators will do their research, or at least listen to what we sent them, so that they can determine which games should be eliminated each round. So that was kind of the idea. And then the second thing was, like, at first I'm like, Canada Reads has everybody on the show, and it's kind of like managed, and I'm like, that's gonna be chaos. First of all, it's gonna be impossible. How are we gonna get 5 different groups of content creators to align their schedules together to be on a show? It's going to take forever.
Right.
Like, that's like, it's going to take forever, and it's going to take a really long time to coordinate everybody to just kind of give their info and debate. Like, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. And like, this is everyone's like side gig hobby, right? Like, this isn't our full-time job.
Right. And as a listener, you should see it actually takes a ton of effort for me to schedule all these guests. But not only that, I have to schedule them at very specific days. Normally we're like, hey, when you available? And they like give us a week, right? Yeah. But this time I'm like, I literally had to be like, okay, all 4 guests of several people give me your schedule. And I'm like, when are you not available? And then that was kind of like how it determined who was on the show when. So when you do hear the guests, it wasn't determined by, this guest is better than this guest. No. It was just determined strictly by when are you available. I'm going to throw you on when you're available, basically. Yeah, so it was nice to ask those people to collaborate with us. They're all friends of ours, which is pretty sweet. And they all have amazing shows. So I was very excited that they all said yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed because, like, I think the biggest thing that we could do for each other in the content creator world is, create content with other content creators. So this is actually pretty awesome. And like, you sent me the files to listen to today, and I was pretty jazzed because I actually didn't even realize who is all involved.
Oh, you didn't even know? You didn't know?
Well, no, I did, but you guys are messaging on Twitter, and I don't go on Twitter very often. So.
Oh, by the way, you're gonna have to stay off Twitter.
I have to stay off Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay off my Twitter, or my Twitter. You have to stay off our official Twitter, because that's how they're sending me the results. And I actually, so this is a cool thing. John is not going to know what everyone else voted for.
Nice.
So it'll be a surprise for you.
I am 100% just a participant in this, and which is fun for me, because I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I have to do. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you kind of know what you have to do.
I do. I had to play the games. I had to talk about our game that we're championing, whatever the word is. And I get to listen to everyone's stuff when Matt sends it to me.
Right. And one of the cool things, too, I think me and you are the only ones who played every game. I don't know if everyone's played every game. I think just us.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So that'll be kind of neat, too, because we'll be very knowledgeable in every episode of what we thought of the game.
Nice. All right, so tell me, Matt, now that you're here and you can tell me what I have to do. Okay. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty rules of last game standing of 2020, even though it's like halfway through 2021.
Right. So just as you know, hey, that's all it takes to prepare. Also, just so you know, the original theme was the game everyone could play, but now the theme is just like, hey, what's this the hipster recommendation you're gonna listen? You're gonna want to play. What's the game?
You know what? After playing all these games, I think everyone can play these games. If you're a board gamer and you actively play board games, you can 100% play all the games
and enjoy them too. They're all fantastic games. Actually,
so your theme still stands. Sorry, your theme still stands.
Yeah, okay. I still think it's a hipster. The game every hipster can play. That's what I think it's called.
There we go. There you go.
Just as a note, too, I did listen to the first round of questions, and I'm actually like, this is really hard to determine what game to eliminate. I was actually like, I hope they all pre-listen. Like, I hope it just isn't a surprise, because, man, it is, like, super hard. Even I was, like, sitting down like, oh, man, like, everyone's making very good points, which you'll hear next episode, and it'll be fantastic. Nice. All right, so the rules, it's very simple. Maybe it's not simple. I don't know. There are 5 games, one that is selected by each content creator who will champion questions on the game through each episode. These questions and answers will be pre-recorded and released each episode based on what I've already predetermined. If a game is not in the current round or episode due to being voted out from the previous episode, we will still play the response because there's a lot of great content there, but only after we decide the winner. And we'll use that as a talking point on each episode to be like, oh, should that have, would that have won if it was still in? And I think that would be pretty cool to analyze.
Every week, each content creator will listen to the answers for that week's question. And every content creator not on the show for the week will vote in advance. The content creator who is on for the week will reveal their vote with my vote, and all ties will be decided by Matt.
Yeah, so just as a cool note, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, so let's say Room 51 is on. I'm actually slowly giving away our guest list. Let's just say Room 51 is on next week. So they will each have a vote along with you, John. So there'll be 3 separate votes added to the vote to the result. But then the other content creators, so each of them will have 1 vote. So even though Dice and Dragons has made up of Jason and Julie, they will only have 1 vote that week. But then the week that they are on the show, each of them will have a separate vote.
You did all the math, so I'm sure it all evens out in the end.
It'll work out. I did that as like an incentive for being on the show. You're on the show, you get a little extra vote. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I thought that'd be a little fun. Canada Reads is everyone gets a separate vote, but whatever. You gotta bend the rules. You gotta make it more fun. It's their own thing, you know. So every week there will be a new grueling question that each content creator will have an answer for, which will be pre-recorded and then put on the show, and then we listen to it together. You and the other 2 content creators come up with your answer, and then we tabulate the votes. So after we listen to the answers, us and the content creator for the show will debate the answers. We will then vote. We will then talk about the decision, and then, like I said a minute ago, we'll listen to the previous ones that were eliminated. We'll also add in those into the conversation. And at the end of 4 voting episodes, only 1 game will be left standing. So 1 game will be voted off every episode. 1 game will be left standing after all 4 episodes, and that will be the champion.
And then we'll email the publisher and be like, hey, we picked your game.
You get this award. Maybe we should send the publisher an award.
That'd be hilarious. Like, what the f*** is this?
We should do it.
All right, so I think it's time that we introduce the most wonderful content creators and the games that they have chosen. What do you say, Matt?
Yeah, so let's give it a listen. So there are 5 content creators, there are 5 games, and we're going to play everyone's introduction right now.
What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie, and together we're Dice and Dragons. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at Dice and Dragons, and on Twitter at Dice and Dragon.
Yes, and today we are going to be talking about Aeon's End Outcast. The game is designed by Kevin Riley, Nick Little, and Sydney Engelstein. The art is done by Gong Studios, and it is published by Indie Boards and Cards. Now, this is part of the, I guess I can say it right now, the long-running Aeon's End series. There is a sequel coming out this year, Aeon's End Legacy of Gravel, that we're looking forward to. And Julie and I are big fans of this series, as we've got all of them, and this has hit the table quite a few times. The table, what was I doing there? I don't know. Happens when I'm trying to say lots of stuff.
So what are we doing in this game, Jason? I mean, how would you describe it?
Well, this is a cooperative deck building game. So why don't you talk a little bit about the deck building, Julie, because this is one of your favorite mechanics.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you can pick the different powers that your different characters can have. They have powers, but you can add to it with the different cards that you can have. And I love the fact that you've got, spells and relics and, that together you're casting these spells and you're preparing to defeat the bad guys. And you've got some big bad guys and you've got some smaller bad guys, and they just keep getting worse and worse. And you have to act with some amount of speed, because otherwise the really bad stuff comes out.
Yes, and the really interesting aspect about the deck building for this game is that you do not shuffle your deck. So as Julie said, you build your deck, you'll then be playing your spells to your breaches, and you will be throwing them at the different enemies. The sequence that you throw them at the enemies or cast them is very important in this game because of how they go into your discard pile. And sometimes you may even want to not cast a spell to have it be more effective later on. So there's a lot of really cool strategy that comes with Aeon's End. Your goal is to defeat the big bad, the nemesis, before you are overrun, or the individual that you're protecting, in the case of Outcast, or the town of Greyville, depending on the scenario that you could be playing in Outcast as well, is defeated. And later on in Outcast, you will also be joined by a certain someone. If you're a fan of the Aeon's End series, you'll know who, and you'll get some really cool spells that they can cast to turn the tide of battle in your favor. So that's the overview as to how you're going to be playing Aeon's End Outcast. This is not a legacy style game, but I would say it is a campaign game. So as you progress through the story successfully, you'll be earning some treasures that you will add to your deck, and that will definitely give your characters a little bit of individuality. And the game is for 1 to 4 players. You will have to control multiple mages at a lower player count. We typically play the game at 4 mages because we're gluttons for punishment, and we like to play everything that's in the box.
One of the things I liked about this is the decisions you're making about which treasures you're keeping or which things you're keeping also have an impact. You don't know what's coming, and sometimes you don't necessarily pick the right card, and later you wish that you had picked another card.
Yeah, that's a great aspect of the campaign element, and it all just works really well, flows well. There are always some very challenging bosses in Aeon's End, and that can be frustrating, but so far it's only brought us back for more. And the game that has the most challenging boss, the one that we've actually never defeated, that drove us crazy, is not this one, thankfully. And maybe we'll beat him one day, but I think we'll have to play it at 2 players.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't mention, by the way, is how long this game takes. So it takes about 60 minutes to get through one of the...
60 to 90 minutes, depending on the nemesis and the cards that you get. Sometimes a sequence where the nemesis cards come out in, especially if you're not playing through a preset version of the deck, can run a little long as you're trying to sort of survive until you get that nice window of opportunity to land the killing blow. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. That's Aeon's End Outcast, and this is the first part of the last game standing.
Hey there, I'm Megan.
And I'm Tristan.
And we're the co-hosts of the Girl Meets Nerd podcast, your beginner's guide to the Nerdverse. We are so excited to be here today to fight to be the last board game standing.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you'd like to find out about our podcast, you can visit our website at girlmeetsnerd.com, follow us on Instagram at Girl Meets Nerd Podcast, or on Twitter at Girl Meets Nerd.
So, Megan, what board game are we fighting for to be standing last?
We are fighting for the board game called Fort by Leader Games.
An extremely powerful board game that is sure to defeat all the other games in this competition.
Absolutely. It was designed by some amazing people, Grant Rodiak, and developed by Nick Brockman. And the art is by the lovely Kyle Farron. So, how do we play this game? Let me just read the back because they describe it best.
We'll give you an overview.
Fort. You're a kid. And like many kids, you want to grow your circle of friends, grab a bunch of pizza and toys, and build the best fort. Naturally, by doing this cool stuff, you'll score victory points. And at the end of the game, the player with the most victory points is the winner.
Fort is a deck building game with a twist. Your cards not only let you take actions on your own turn, but also let you follow the other players' actions on their turns. Will you devote yourself to your own posse or copy what the other kids are doing.
Keep an eye out, though. If you don't actually use all the cards in your hand, the other players will get a chance to nab them. After all, if you don't play with your friends, why should they hang out with you anymore?
The only board game that makes you face reality.
So, as most of you know if you've listened to our podcast, I don't do the rules. So, Tristan, how do you actually play this game?
I do the rules. So to play Fort, you're going to be trying to score more points than the other players that you are playing against by building a fort, and as we described, trying to attract more friends in order to score points.
And friends are cards in this game.
Friends are cards. Great point. So essentially, this is a deck building game. You are trying to create the most powerful deck of friends to score more points than your opponents. So how do you do this? You play a card from your hand on every turn that have different actions. So each of the different friends that you collect will give you different abilities that you can play in your turn. Generally, each of your friends give you 2 actions to play, and you can choose to play one or both of those actions. Actions are geared towards scoring points. So building more resources, collecting more resources, scoring victory points, or taking resources away from your enemies. Each of the cards has a public action, so even when it's not your turn, you're still able to play the game. So when an opponent of yours plays a card, you have the opportunity to use some of your resources to take their action, so you're constantly being able to play this game. That's one of the things that I love about it.
It's such a cute game and so much fun, and we can't wait to tell you more about it. I'm Megan.
And I'm Tristan.
And we're going to make sure that Fort is the last board game standing. Be-do-be-boo, be-do-be-boo-bee, be-do-be-boo, be-do-be-boo-boo-boo,
Boo-boo.
be-do-boo.
Boo, 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 boo.
I don't know how the rest of it goes.
Hey there, this is Norm from Cardboard Conjecture and
Ryan from Cardboard Conjecture.
And we are here to talk about, first of all, we are invited by Friday Night Games. Thank you very much. To talk about a game from 2020 that isn't an A-list game, not to say that, it's not deserving of that, but it wasn't as hyped, let's say, the spotlighted games. This was more the unsung hero of the 2020s.
Ooh,
so
good one. I like that.
Yeah. So we came down with a pick and we were approved of this pick. So we're going to get to that right after I pitch this to Ryan to tell us who we are.
Yeah, so we are Cardboard Conjecture, and we are based out of Saskatoon in the Bridge City Board Gamers Facebook community group. And you can find us on all your, all of the things that you can find podcasts on, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, whatever you want to listen to your podcasts on. We've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, we've got something on YouTube. Just search up BC Board Gamers. Yeah, that's been us. We have opinions and conclusions formed on the basis of incomplete information.
I love it.
We're perfect for this segment.
And so the segment we're going to talk about is a game called Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road, designed by Fabio Lopiano and published by Osprey Games. As said, this is a 2020 publication. 1 to 4 players. Yay, gotta love the solo. 90 minutes, aged 4 plus.
Age 4.
Did I
14?
say 4 plus? 14. my brain is caffeinated. So let's kind of describe, and I'm just going to go into the publisher provided description. So Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road is a tense economic game charting the rise and fall of the greatest city in the world. In Merv, players are vying to amass power and wealth in the prosperous heart of the Silk Road through careful court intrigue, timely donations to the Grand Mosque, and favorable trade deals. Players attempt to redirect as much of that prosperity as possible into their own pockets. Meanwhile, beyond the city walls, Mongol hordes approach. If you help construct the city walls, you give up on precious opportunities to build up your own stature, but leave it unprotected and you will burn with the city. Every decision is weighty and the consequences of each misstep are dire. Will you rise to prominence or fade into oblivion? That was pretty dramatic. I kind of like that.
Wow, it got pretty tense there for a bit.
I got chills. I think I got goosebumps.
Yeah. So what's the goal of this game? So the goal of the game, obviously, it's a Euro based game because it's Osprey game. So it's whoever can amass the most points, and you'd be able to do that. You're the winner. Now the way that you mass these points is that you're only going to take 12 actions, Norm, for the whole course of this game. And every one of those actions is very crucial because there's so many things you can do. You can build walls, you can collect goods, you can try to fulfill contracts, you can try to go to the marketplace, so many different things that you can do in this game, but you only got 12 actions.
Yeah.
And the turn order is so very crucial and very interesting in how it plays out. I'm always fired up when I'm talking about this game.
It's a bunch of tracks. It's fun Euro tracks. Now the general theme, I think we kind of hit the general theme in the description, like the Silk Road. You're doing all of these fun market trades, and as you said, the center city. I think that is
so good.
Yeah, that to me that is the heart of this game, is that four-sided matrix of action programming is what I was thinking about.
Where all the tiles have been laid out at the very beginning of the game is going to very much dictate kind of general things that players are going to want to try to do, because when you on your turn, you're going to take your guy, you're going to put it in a row or as a column, and you're going to have to trigger one of the tiles. So very early in the game, your actions aren't getting you very much, but later in the game, there's lots of cascading effects.
Yeah,
much later. So like the very first round goes by very fast. The middle round, okay, now it's starting to get a little. That last round, there are so many interesting decisions to be made.
Yeah, like you said, there's 12 turns, and how it breaks down is there's 3 rounds. And you're going around the outside square of the city, and that's where you get, one kind of around the city is one turn. And like I said, 3 turns, 12 actions. And wow, like every good Euro, I think the general idea how to play this is to find the easiest way to put it is there's 5 areas that you can work on. And typically 2 of those synergistically connect all the time. This and this are a good combo, or this and this is a good combo. And I think we're still trying to explore.
And don't let one player in the game dominate one of them, because they will most likely run away with it. So there is lots of tense decisions of trying to maximize what you're going to do, but also try to minimize what somebody else is going to do.
Yeah, without it getting too crazy deep into it. With this,
very passive aggressive.
Yeah, without describing a lot of it. The action selection happens when you pick a place and you put a house on it, that you get to cascade or get to combine a lot of these resources. So there's so much to talk about this game, and I think we're pretty much winding up our time. So is there one thing you want to say about this awesome Euro with so much depth to it? That was my question with my own opinion. Yep. Yeah, Ryan.
I think you nailed it on the head. It is simple to play, but so much depth, and so many good things. But I think we're going to get those in a later episode.
Yeah, why we like this game. But this is just to introduce Merv, Heart of the Silk Road
by Osprey Games.
What is up? My name is Melissa McCack, and I'm here with my brother, Justin Maycack.
Hey, everybody.
We are Room 51, where we talk all things board gaming. You can find us over on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/room51. You can also find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/room51live. And then you could also find us on all sorts of social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at This Is Room 51. So that's where you can find us if you want to check us out.
Yes.
The game that we are talking about is Rallyman GT. Justin, take it away.
Boom. Okay, so Rallyman GT is by Holy Grail Games. So the game it's a racing game, right? And it's all about rally racing. So you're pretty much racing against your opponents to get through this whole winding course and everything, be the first one to cross the finish line. And what makes this game, I guess, stand out from other racing games is its usage of gears and dice. So there's like this push your luck mechanism of moving further by going through your different gears, upshifting or downshifting. And you have to roll dice to see if you're able to successfully do that in this really fun and strategic way where it's like, okay, do I want to push my luck? Do I want to be a bit safer with it? What's the best strategy? What gear do I want to end up on? Maybe I don't want to go as far as I possibly can on this turn. Maybe I want to end up on a higher gear or a lower gear to position myself better for my next turn. All these different things kind of accumulate into what makes Rallyman GT a very interesting and in-depth racing game that really does stand out from other racing games to me.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? That it stands out from others?
I would say it stands out. I really like the push a look mechanism. And by the way, this game is designed by, and I am so sorry, I might butcher these names, but I was going to say Jean-Christophe Bouvier, and the artist is Luis Muzi. I am so sorry again. I think I totally mispronounced these names, but I just wanted to give them credit as well for this awesome game. And they are coming out with another one where it's like on a dirt track and everything, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I am excited for that though, because just with the general idea of the game, since it is a rally game, I'm very excited to have different surfaces, because a lot of times different rally stages will have that, where it'll be a tarmac versus, dirt, things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Just as all into races.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much. We will catch you in that second episode.
Wow, that is awesome, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm jazzed. I'm really excited for this contest. And you know what? I think Castles of Tuscany is gonna win. That's just
I don't.
That's just me.
Once you hear some of our answers, I'm like, some of our answers are so funny. I don't want to ruin anything, but some of our answers are so funny. Yeah, so just to recap on the 5 amazing games. So Room 51 is championing Rallyman GT. Girl Meets Nerd is championing Fort. Dice and Dragons is championing Aeon's End Outcasts. We're championing Castles of Tuscany. And Bridge City Board Gamers are championing Merv.
Nice.
Yeah, so make sure you tune in next week where we will vote off one of those games based on a question. And on that show will be Room 51.
Cool.
But before we go, I'm going to circle back to something really funny. We should send a trophy to a publisher. In fact, at my work, I was in charge of helping out with employee committee. We had a chili cook-off, and just as a joke, we had this like $100 budget. So we bought this $100 7-foot-tall trophy that we gave to the winner of the chili cook-off, and then we ended up like having other cook-offs. Like we had like a cake cook-off and a cookie cook-off. This is obviously all pre-COVID, right? Can't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who won would get to have this giant trophy, and they had to like sit it next to their desk, and it was just bananas. Like you walk by it, it was like the tallest thing you've ever seen. But everyone in the office thought it was hilarious. We should definitely send that to the winning publisher. So so just a little off topic now. So John, what totally hipster game should have been game of the year? Did we leave off anything? Like you were talking about, you love Gods, Love Dinosaurs. Do you think that should have been the game we did? And
I think I love Gods, Love Dinosaurs. Just I have like an emotional attachment to that game.
It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, last week's podcast I talked about emotional connection I have as I played it with my kid. But it's a great game. You know what? I think out of all the games that are on our list with the content creators, if I'm going to choose one of those, I think I probably had the most fun playing Fort.
Yeah.
I wish I was able to play Merv all the way to the end. Unfortunately, I had to step off the game early. But yeah, it's going to be tough. So I don't know.
Okay, what game should have been on there that we didn't include? It doesn't have to be, it could be a popular game.
Should have been on that list and we didn't?
Yeah. I have a couple games in my mind.
Dude, I don't remember what I did yesterday.
Oh, come on, Arnak. We're missing Arnak. We're missing Dune Imperium.
I know. I think
my
favorite game that I played probably last year is probably Dune Imperium.
Yeah, I think actually mine is Dune Imperium too. I'm trying to think what else was released last year. Oh, The Crew, which I discluded, right? So that was kind of, I don't know. I guess that's my fault.
Whatever.
I should have included that, but I don't know. It's tough. Like it's tough to like include everything. I'm pulling up a list right now. So like, okay, Jaws of the Lion, right? Dune Imperium, Arnak. On Mars, we never played, and that's pretty tough. Pandemic Legacy Season 0, that's kind of a re-implementation. Do we miss that?
I don't think so.
Viscounts of the West Kingdom. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't think it was like game of the year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I enjoyed it too, but
there's a couple on here we haven't played, like Nidavellir. We haven't played that one. I played Tekinu. I don't think it's as good as other people think it's as good. Does that make sense?
I think the list we have, they're not super popular games, but they all have their own quality of being a really amazing game.
Okay. But if I were to be like, John, give me 2 to 3 games that should be on the list. If we didn't go down the route we did, what would you have put on there?
Yeah, I'd put Dune.
Me too.
For sure. Probably Arnak. Those two have kind of go hand in hand for several reasons. And then I would throw on Gods of Dinosaurs because I want to.
Because you love that game.
It's a good game, man.
Yeah, I would actually keep Rallyman GT on there. I love Rallyman GT. Not that I'm going to vote for it to win, but I really like that game. And obviously I love Castles of Tuscany. I think it was a fantastic game. It appeals to everybody.
Right.
I think that's kind of what well, I guess I shouldn't ruin it, but I think it's a very open game. It can appeal to everybody. Whereas, like, say something like Dune Imperium or Gloomhaven might not. Make sense?
Fair.
Right? But Lost Ruins Arnak could. Pandemic Legacy could. Okay, so stay tuned for next episode where we vote off the first game of 5, and we're going to have a very special question to that one, too. So look for that, and Room 51 will be joining us, which will be super fun. So make sure you tune in next week. Thanks, everybody.
If you like what you hear, don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or follow us on your favorite streaming platform. You can follow us on our social medias, Instagram @FridayNightGames_official, Twitter @FridayNightGMS, TikTok @FridayNightGames, and our website, FridayNight.games. And again, I'm John.
I'm Matt.
And it's Friday night, so let's have some fun.